Well, thank you to Chandukulekeke with our business news. It is 12:45 Central African time, and we're coming to you live from Johannesburg in South Africa. US President Donald Trump has addressed Israel's parliament as a fragile Gaza ceasefire he helped to broker enters a fourth day. The 20 living Israeli hostages have been handed over to the Red Cross. We cross now to SABC News correspondent in Tel Aviv. That's Blake Sifton. Blake, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Now, reports suggest that the living hostages have been handed over to the Red Cross. What more can you tell us about this?
That's right. All 20 living hostages were handed over this morning in two separate groups, both in Gaza City as well as in the south. They were handed over by Hamas to the Red Cross without any kind of ceremony or spectacle. And they were taken then to Israeli forces in Gaza, then to military bases just across the border. There, they reunited with their families. They had initial medical checks, and they've since been taken to medical centers in and around Tel Aviv. And actually, just in the last half hour or so, there were several helicopters carrying them visible in the sky. You could hear the rotors quite loudly, and they actually flew them over Hostage Square, where tens of thousands of people, supporters of the hostages and their families, have been celebrating throughout the day. Now, when it comes to the bodies of the Israeli hostages who are deceased, they have not been released yet. Palestinian prisoners are being released. The 250 so-called security prisoners, these are prisoners serving life sentences, they have begun arriving by bus in Ramallah to large crowds of supporters gathered there to receive them. And 1,700 people detained in Gaza during the war are also being released today. They include people, including women, children, medical workers who were detained when Israeli forces raided hospitals. They have begun arriving in Gaza. They will be taken to Khan Yunis. They will also receive medical treatment, and there will be a large ceremony there with supporters and their families to welcome them.
Now, Blake, another big issue is the aid and the delivery of aid. How's that been going, and what sort of what should we expect?
That's right. So according to the text of the 20-point peace plan that President Trump has put forth, and according to this deal, 600 trucks of aid is meant to enter Gaza every day. That's the amount that the international aid community says is needed to meet the needs of the people. Far less than that has been entering Gaza per day throughout this war. It isn't at that level yet. The UN and other groups have said that they are standing by to flood aid into Gaza. They say more checkpoints need to open, and those checkpoints need to be operated efficiently. However, it is increasing. We saw fuel and cooking gas entering Gaza for the first time yesterday since March. And on Tuesday, we expect that the Rafah crossing between Egypt and Gaza will open to aid convoys, and that's a major conduit for aid. So that will be a very positive step in the right direction. But incredible amounts of work need to be done. The UN says that they are ready to begin rehabilitating the sewage system, water lines, rebuilding bakeries. And they also say that some 500,000 people need urgent medical treatment for the effects of famine.
Blake, just in wrapping up, just the state of the 20 Israeli hostages, the living hostages, what sort of state are they in?
So from what we've seen, they appear to be in reasonably good health. That's also what we've heard. Most of them, we understand, are walking. They look relieved when you see images of them speaking to their families. But of course, they've been in captivity for over 2 years now, and previous hostages released in previous rounds, initially much earlier, within a few months of October 7th, and then of course just this past winter, many of them required lengthy stays in hospital. So we do expect that these hostages will as well.
Well, Blake, we are going to wrap it up here, but hopefully we'll be able to speak to you once there is more in terms of the rebuilding of Gaza and how that will unfold. Thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Thank you.
As SABC correspondent in Tel Aviv, Blake Sifton, joining us on the line.
Africa Update with Lulu Gaboo, 12 to 1 p.m. Central African Time.
With just over a week to